get for rushing in here and not getting settled and focused. Anyway, good evening. Welcome to the Town of Babylon Planning Board. Today is the 24th of March, 2025. We do have a public hearing. So we will begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Frank, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Patrick Halpin.
Present.
Julianne Nolan. Gerald O'Neill.
Present.
Ed Wynn.
Present.
Juan Leon.
Present.
Frank Santos. Matt Esposito. Lindsay Russo. Isn't Lindsay here? No. And Rich Casey.
And we have a quorum.
Yes.
Okay.
Greg?
And Greg Axiola. Hello, Greg.
Okay, did everybody get all of, you got Greg?
We got him.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Before we start the public hearing, I'd like to read this statement into the record. The planning board shall have the right to rely on any information that is presented by the applicant. If any such information is later found to be inaccurate or incorrect, the planning board may determine that any approvals, building permits, or other actions previously granted in connection with the application are null and void.
Okay, item A, public hearing, site plan review, convenience store. Job 2425AN, Eagles Elite Auto Repair, Inc. Purposes is to expansion and conversion of an existing gas station, service pump islands, and associated site improvements.
Okay, who's here on behalf of the applicant?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My appearance for the record, Chris Tartaglia with High Point Engineering, offices at 1860 Walt Whitman Road, Melville, New York, 11747.
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Per the call, we're here tonight on behalf of Eagles Elite Auto Repair, Incorporated. With me tonight are representatives of the owner of the property, Vedat Bous, and on his way is his partner, and he has arrived, Jesse Velasquez.
He was right behind me.
Thanks for coming, Jesse. These folks are available to answer any questions that I can assist with. The subject property is located at 270 Wyandanch Avenue at the corner of Mount Avenue in West Babylon. By way of some recent history and distant history, this property has been developed as a gas station as far back as 1968. That was the earliest C of O that we could find. The records on tank removals are a little bit sketchy, but we're fairly certain they were removed somewhere in the early 2000s. My clients have owned this property for about 6 years now, and they have been members of the community for a while, and they believe they saw it discontinuing pumping somewhere in the early 2000s. So it has been operated since then, both by my client and by their predecessors, as a repair shop. And as the images on the screen show, it is a fairly busy little repair shop. Cars parked all over, and somewhat in a haphazard and disarray manner. And that's why we're here tonight, because my clients, the owners, want to take this site and move it into the current day. We're proposing specifically is redeveloping the site back into a gasoline filling station, eliminating the auto repairs, and creating a convenience store within that existing building. Some of the particulars on the proposed site plan are as follows. The existing building is 2,182 square feet. We will be adding expansions to the rear for a total of 2,792 square feet. Again, auto repairs will be discontinued, and the entire building will be operated as a convenience store. In front of the building is a new canopy proposed over 4 pump islands, and there will be 2 new double-wall fiberglass underground storage tanks installed where the cursor is right now, along Mount Avenue. 4 existing curb cuts on the property will remain. They will be modified for better functionality and make them more suitable for two-way access and allowing the tanker truck to get into and out of the property. I don't know if we can get maybe to the colored site plan, Matt, if possible? Great, thank you. So the site, one of the great features of this site is it will be fully landscaped, something that is sorely lacking, as was noted in the prior photos. With being specific, we're locating a lot of evergreen and very robust landscaping all around the property. In the rear, there'll be significantly dense evergreens against a 6-foot-high solid PVC fence. And along the street frontages, there will be street trees proposed, as well as additional evergreen and also annual shrubbery and flowers that will be planted. There are proposed landscape areas in between all the curb cuts to better delineate where the access points are. There will also be an automatic sprinkler system proposed, of course, to ensure the vitality of that landscaping. Other site improvements are all new sidewalks along both frontages. They both need it fairly desperately. Those sidewalks will be all fully handicap compliant and ADA in accordance with all ADA regulations. A trash enclosure will be installed along the southerly side of the property along Mount Avenue, and that will be a town code compliant trash enclosure. We'll also have new dark sky compliant LED lighting throughout the property. The site will be completely repaved. There will be brand new stormwater management and drainage systems installed, and the building will be connected to the existing sanitary sewer. We will also provide code-compliant parking. Code mandates 14 parking stalls, and we will be providing 14 parking stalls. However, because that's a little bit more than we typically see that we will need, we have 4 land bank parking stalls that will be located out on the front corner of the property, where we feel we can have the most visual impact with providing green space and landscaping. So that's where the 4 parking stalls, where the cursor is being shown now. So we'll be building out a total of 10 stalls. We will also have a handicap ADA accessible stall located right near the front door. And we will have a truck loading stall in compliance with town regulations located near the underground storage tanks. The proposed hours of operation of the facility are 24 hours, 7 days a week. We find that this allows the property and the surrounding areas to have a safely monitored area where the on-site staff can actually act as the eyes and ears of the community, and it's a place that people can go to at any time in the night and find safe harbor if they need to. There will also be a CCTV camera system located throughout the entire property with full coverage of every area of the property, and that CCTV system will be available to be monitored both on and off premises. Very important note, we met with the Belmont Lake Civic Association January of last year, and they offered their full support for the project as currently before you. That's pretty much my presentation. I figured I would keep it short and then open up to any questions or concerns that the board or public may have.
Ron?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Would you be able to take us through a typical fuel delivery? And can you also assure us that there is adequate space and space for the truck to maneuver so that the truck is not, in the road or anything like that?
Yeah, the great question, Mr. Leon. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to just point to the screen. I'm sorry, I hate to ask you to look over your shoulders, but so the tanks are located in this area here. And the way we envision the truck routing would be a northbound route, either on Mount Avenue, probably on Mount Avenue, either a northbound or a southbound, but turning in through this curb cut, circulating on the property so that the truck would actually sit here in this truck loading stall facing north. And the reason why facing north is important is because the way the trucks are configured, they can only drop off of the passenger side of the tanker. They're not equipped to operate off of the driver's side. So if that truck is facing north and hugged against the curb right here, which is where he'll be able to maneuver himself, he'll be able to adequately get into those round circles there, which are the fills in the top of the tanks. Once he's complete, he can then exit the property either via the Mount Avenue curb cut or circulate over to a curb cut on Wyandanch Avenue. I hope that satisfies your question.
John, any other questions?
That's all I have.
Okay. Go ahead, Counsel.
Mr. Tarpaglia, in reference to the waiver that is needed for the landscaping, is it your testimony or your opinion tonight that the required landscape area along the frontage of the property is being replaced or provided in an equivalent area in other areas on the site plan?
Yes, I do. I would state that, and as part of my initial testimony, I discussed that specifically right out at the front, at what we call the point, which is the corner, you can see there's a very, very large green space landscaped area. That's actually helped by the fact that we're land banking those parking stalls, meaning we have room for them, but we're not going to build them because we don't think we will need them. However, as part of any planning approval, should there be a need to develop those stalls, we certainly would, of course, develop them. But in my 30 years of this practice, whenever we land bank stalls, we've really never needed them. So short answer to your question is yes. We've had to reduce the landscape areas along the frontage, specifically on Mount Avenue, to create this loading area for the tanks. But we more than make up for it in the other areas of landscaping, both along the frontages and behind the property.
Are there any other questions, Frank?
Good evening.
No, it's not.
No. Hello. There we go. Good evening. Two questions, actually. Deliveries for the building, how and where is that coming in and when? And second question is, the back of the building, is that either fenced off or saved off, or is it closed off in any way?
Yeah, I'll answer the second question first. Yes, so what we're doing, in addition to that 6-foot-high fence in the rear, you'll notice we have fences closing off the rear of the property, so nobody can get behind the building. Nothing good goes on behind the building, and we'd like to close it off. To answer your first question, so the times of deliveries in these type of uses, they're sort of scattered throughout the day, and they're really primarily by smaller box trucks or vans. This is sort of unlike a 7-Eleven operation, where they have one tractor trailer that comes in and takes up the whole property while he delivers for a half hour. We have a different beverage guy, a different chips person. All the different deliveries will come in at varied times, and they really come in as needed. So we could see maybe 5 or 6 deliveries in one day of varied box trucks and things, and then go 2 or 3 days with none, and then a couple more. So they're really impossible to sort of plan out, but a size of this store of this nature typically would be relatively on the low end of deliveries, maybe 5 or 6 a day, and they would be staggered. They wouldn't be on top of each other. I hope that helped. Thank you.
Julianne, did you have a question?
Yes, thank you.
You gotta turn it on. There you go.
What grades of fuel?
So we will have 3 grades of gasoline. There'll be regular grade, which is the low grade, mid grade, and high grade, super. And there will also be a compartment for diesel as well.
Okay, so for the diesel, that is a route that a lot of commercial vehicles do travel. So I'd like to see how regular cars come in and then how the diesel vehicles would come in.
Sure. We've put a lot of thought into this layout, and one of the key aspects is that we're keeping the 2 curb cuts on each roadway, and both of those curb cuts, they're both town, by the way, jurisdictional roadways. All 4 of those curb cuts will be 2-way, in and out. And they'll also be widened to accommodate truck traffic. So I think what we've got here is sort of the perfect scenario of a modest access plan that will provide safe access. However, trucks, and most truck drivers are professional. They're very, very good drivers generally. If we do get a truck on the property, they would be located at the outer pump islands, probably here. Really, this is the best spot, and this is where we're going to locate the diesel pumps on this side. There's plenty of room on this side for a truck to come in, not be in the way of any of the other islands or any of the other curb cuts, and then leave. Generally speaking, we don't think we're going to capture a lot of the tractor trailer traffic, simply because those folks already have a fleet card or a service station affiliated with their company where they specifically go, and that would be more of a truck-oriented type facility. However, if we do get them, we can accommodate them. That's the ideal layout that we have here. There's plenty of room to circulate. As far as cars go, one other really good feature is that in between the pump islands here, we actually have enough space so that if there are cars located at all 4 of these inner fueling lanes, there's a passing lane in between for a car to be able to get through. So we've actually got a nice sized property here, and we're able to design that aspect into it, which frankly, a lot of the sites that I've seen and that this board have seen do not have that luxury. But we've kept the number of pumps down to 4. If had we gone with 6, we might not have had that luxury, but we're keeping them down to 4 so we can get better circulation.
And the height of the canopy?
The overall height of the canopy will be, I think we're showing it at 17 or 18 probably. Sorry, Matt, I didn't do my homework. Should be able to zoom in. 18, yeah, 15 clear and a 3-foot fascia. That's standard.
And do you have a rodent plan, and do you also have a plan for employees to keep the property clean at certain times during the week?
Yes, as far as the cleanliness goes, yeah, I think that that's something that we read the board memo, by the way, which absolutely mandates that as part of the approval, so the owners and the operators will definitely stick to that, keeping the location clean. Look, this is going to be a $2 million plus investment into this property. I hope I didn't scare you guys. And with that, I know they're going to take some pride in ownership and maintaining the site. As far as rodent protection goes, absolutely. And I believe that is also a part of the conditions of the planning approval as well. So they will, of course, abide by that. But we appreciate those questions.
Okay. Are there any other questions? No? Can we go back to the aerial photo of the site currently that you showed there? Okay. All right. So what are all these cars here? Are these is this all part of the property we're talking about?
So the cars you see behind the building, Mr. Chairman, are on the opposite property. So those are not our property in the rear. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Matt.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so that's us there in the red outline.
Have inspectors gone out there? Is that what exists today? You have those cars just back there behind this old gas station? Matt, have we had people inspect this to see what the adjacent property? Yes.
I was there,
It's a mess.
fences, the stockade fences.
Can you speak into the microphone?
There are stockade fencing falling into the sidewalk or the street area on Wyandanch Avenue. There's a retaining wall on the east side of that property. There's a higher elevation for the site that you're talking about. The retaining wall is crumbling into the neighbor. It's a mess. I was glad that you guys were not associated with that.
Thank you.
Well, my question is that, okay, we have all of the conditions that are on here, but as it relates to the adjacent property, have there ever been any summonses issued? If there haven't been, I think this board strongly recommends that we send inspectors out there, because if they're going to be investing $2 million into this, and everything next to it is what we're currently seeing and what you've just described, that is not going to be the asset that we want this new development to be. And that requires that town inspectors go out there and act appropriately. Take whatever appropriate action is necessary. You don't have to send these cars down to El Salvador or anything. You just got to get them off the property. Any other questions? No. Okay. Yeah, you've gone through all the covenants and restrictions.
Yes, sir.
With your client. Are there any issues, any concerns, anything that you'd like to bring to our attention regarding the covenants and restrictions?
No, Mr. Chairman, I've reviewed them with my clients, and they are okay with all of them.
So they have no objection to any of the covenants or any of the restrictions?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much. We have that for the record. All right, is there anyone from the public that would like to address the board regarding this application? Hi, did you get a chance to fill out one of these?
No, I didn't. This one right here?
Yeah, you can take that with you after you speak. Give us your name and address.
Vanda, V-A-N-D-A, Bordes, 87 Schenectady Avenue, West Babylon. And I'm here to represent the Belmont Lake Civic Association, which we did meet. And we're very happy to see the improvements, great improvements that are going to be
Speak
there.
to us.
I'm sorry.
You've already
We're
spoken
happy
to
to
that.
see the improvements that's going to be there. But I do have a question, and I know we had asked this question when we met, but I don't remember the answer. What is actually going to be sold inside the convenience store? Is there going to be hot food, cooking, or alcohol?
Okay, hold on. We will have that question answered after you finish with your questions or any other questions.
I think that was it.
Okay, because we need to get it to be part of the record officially.
Okay.
Okay? Pardon me? Did I swear you in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
I know you.
Thank you.
I shouldn't have to do that, but
That's
I'm
okay.
required to.
That's okay.
Especially if you're from the Belmont Lake Civic Association.
Exactly. Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. All right, Counsel, would you like to address that question?
I would, and it's always great to see the members of the Belmont Lake Civic Association. They are very friendly and helpful and a great asset to the community. The town of Babylon's very lucky to have them.
Yes, we are.
So as discussed at the meeting, so we are providing a small food counter area, a little space within the building that we could provide hot and cold takeaway food. We're not sure yet of who will be in there. It'll be somebody that will be owned and operated by the operator himself. We're not certain about any national chains or anything like that. But the area is very small. It's about 20 by 15 feet, about 300 square feet. And right now, it's TBD as to what it will be. But we're thinking it might be a small deli-like, perhaps maybe some egg sandwiches or something in the morning, and possibly a lunch offering in the afternoon. Not sure about the dinner trade in that area, so we're not sure it'll do too much. But that would be the proposal, keeping it relatively on the small end. As far as other items that will be sold, look at any other convenience store. It will have basically necessary food items. Of course, beverages. We've got a walk-in cooler. Minor household needs. We, of course, can't carry a full supermarket, but maybe some health and beauty aids, things of that nature. There will be probably some ice cream and some other equipment along the rear line there. Basically what you really see in most convenience stores. We will also have, because I'm sure the question will be asked, they will look to secure a beer license to sell beer. Of course, that's up to the state and their ability to issue them that permit to do that. And that would just be done under whatever regulations apply. Certainly, the State Alcohol and Beverage Commission has jurisdiction over that, and they would adhere to any of those laws and regulations.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board regarding this application? No. Okay. All right. So I'm going to request a motion from the board to close the hearing and to reserve decision. Could I have a motion? Motion by Julianne. Second by Jerry. All in favor? Approved. The public hearing is now closed. The decision, though, has been reserved in order for us to review any feedback we have received this evening and any open site plan issues. The record will remain open for written comments. To follow up on the status of the application or to submit additional written comments, you can contact the planning department in a number of different methods. First, of course, is in person. Planning is located on the west wing of Town Hall. That's in that direction. Application documents, plans are available for inspection between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. or by phone, 631-957-3103, or via email, planning comments, that's one word, planning comments at Town of Babylon, that's also one word, townofbabylonny.gov. Thank you. Thank you very much. And don't forget to fill out your form.
Oh, no,
Okay, well, you can give that to Matt, please. Thank you again. Thank you. Okay, our next,
Item B is an
Item.
informational hearing, site plan review. Job
Okay.
number
go ahead.
2454A, Neo Wellness LLC, to
Okay.
convert an existing warehouse into an adult-use cannabis dispensary along with associated site plans.
Okay, please state your name and address for the record.
Sure. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Planning Board. John Anzalone for Harris Beach, Murtha, 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard, Suite 901, Uniondale, New York, 11553. Attorney for the applicant.
Okay, please proceed.
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity to make this presentation to you tonight. I'm here tonight with respect to Neo Wellness LLC's site plan application for 135 Allen Boulevard to convert an existing building into an adult-use cannabis
Hold on.
dispensary.
Matt, could you pull up the existing site aerial photo so we could just, okay.
That's it.
All right, everybody see that? Okay. Okay, before we go any further,
Sure.
I just want to be sure that you've had the opportunity to review the Planning Commissioner's memo regarding this application dated March 17th, 2025. Does your client have any issues with any of the conditions, covenants, and restrictions?
No, I spoke with my client and discussed it with him in full. He has no objections to any provision.
No objection to any provision? Okay, please proceed.
Yes. So this existing building has been there since 1953 based on a certificate of occupancy. To put the location in context, the property is in a large swath of industrial zoning in East Farmingdale, located south of Republic Airport between Route 110 to its west and the Southern State Parkway to its east and south. And the area has been developed in industrial uses for about 70 years. More specifically, the property is located mid-block between the terminus of Grand Avenue to the west and Adams Boulevard to the east. At the outset, it is important to note that the overall site plan before the board this evening is very similar to what exists today. The existing building is proposed to be maintained where it existed for 70 years, and there are no additions proposed to the building. The project involves no variances. The site is being modified to clear out the existing storage, convert the rear of the property into a parking lot, and permit circulation around the building. The front yard of the property will have a code-compliant planter area installed in the front, while maintaining the existing plantings in front of the building. The rear of the property will include a landscape area in the southeast corner and a landscaping strip between the proposed parking and eastern property line. The property will also have new drainage and curbing installed in conformance with modern codes. The current front yard dumpster, which is consistent with others in the area and not being unenclosed, will be placed within a closure to screen it. In accordance with Town Code Section 186.9, we submit that the project will provide for adequate entrances and exits from Allen Boulevard. Here we note that the entire frontage is presently effectively a curb cut. The improvements will result in a defined and marked driveway. The site will provide for a code-compliant parking of 10 stalls. The parking will be primarily located in the rear, with 2 stalls located in the front, inclusive of 1 handicap stall. These front yard parking is beyond the minimum front yard setback and can be seen in aerial photographs of the area. Basically, all but one of the properties on the south side of Allen Boulevard between Grand Avenue and Adams Boulevard have parking in the front between the street and the buildings. There are no residents that can see the property. The proposed layout allows for interior one-way circulation around the building. The property's new landscaping along its frontage will represent an improvement of the appearance of the site over existing conditions and enhance the appearance of the site from the circa 1950s industrial character of the surrounding area. The outdoor lighting is designed to not spill onto the road or beyond the property lines, and the drainage of the site is brought into conformance with the town code. The building facade is being repaired in connection with the application and fully consistent with the surrounding industrial developments. The existing water and sewer connections will be maintained. The zoning of the site allows for the use subject to a special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals. The property complies with all siting locations for a cannabis dispensary. Further, the project is set in an industrial area. I know retail cannabis use peaks in the evening and weekends when most of these businesses are not in use. Concerning the principal of the applicant who is with us today, Shaq Ahmed is a Long Island resident and graduate of Farmingdale State College, a short distance from the property. Shaq has over 17 years of entrepreneurial experience. By way of his background, he founded and operated RPA Trading, which was one of the largest Verizon wireless retail partners in New York, with 27 stores across 5 states, before selling those stores in 2019. Since that time, he has operated an iFix franchise and manages 10 properties that have been acquired by his real estate investment fund. With me tonight to answer any questions this board may have, we have Harold Gephardt, principal of Harold E. Gephardt Architect, the design professional, and as I noted, Shaq Ahmed of Neo Wellness LLC, the principal of the applicant. I'm going to keep it short and just open it up for questions at this point.
Okay, Jerry? No? Do any of the board members have any questions for the architect? Could the architect come up and show us how the flow is going to work inside the facility?
Well, if you want to go through the floor, you want the floor plan, I can have the applicant walk through the floor plan for you. Or are you talking about the flow around the building?
No, I'm talking about the floor plan, the interior.
Okay.
And also, let's take another look at the exterior improvements. So who would like to present that?
You can present the, yeah.
The interior?
Yeah, you can do the interior.
The owner? Okay,
Yeah,
that's
the
fine.
interior, I guess.
That's all right, Harold. You better cut your fee down. Okay, could you state your name and address for the record?
That's it.
Sir.
All right. No.
Hold on.
Yeah.
And you have to fill out, did you fill
He did,
out?
he filled out a
You did,
card.
okay, good. So please state your name and address for the record.
Abhishek Anand, 123 Sahasset Circle, Sahasset, New York.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the
I
truth?
swear to tell the
Okay, please go ahead. Describe what we're looking at.
So this is the vestibule right here. This will be a security guard right at the door when you enter. This same in the, I just want to show you the back since we're talking about security guards. If you could just move it back a little to the back entry. And we would have a security guard right here directing traffic and checking IDs also. Then we would have a greeter
So
right
hold
here.
on. So there's a front entrance and a rear entrance, and they're all in the rear, the entrance?
It's two entrances.
Okay.
The greeter in the middle, in the back, right here, she or he will be giving flow to the customers which way, left or right to go. In the front, the vestibule, we'll have a security guard checking ID, same thing. They will tell them the flow of which way, whether this will be our to-go line or pickup line, or this is our in-house purchase line that you didn't order from. So one of these counters will be our to-go counter, and one of them will be in-store purchase counter. Pretty much that's the flow. Security guard in the back, checking IDs. It would be like a bar-style scanner that they would have. So before anybody enters, all IDs will be checked. And then in the middle, right here in the back, the hostess or whoever is back there will support the flow going to the left or right.
Can we go to the rendering? But first, before you change, you have a question regarding this? Go ahead, Julie.
I do, thank you. Is this cash or just credit?
So you're able to take, it's pinless debit and cash. So right now, what I'm hearing in the industry, it's like 50-50.
And are these armed security?
So my security is a current detective of sergeant. That's the company. I could have armed or unarmed. It's up to, we were thinking one armed and one unarmed.
And do you do deliveries?
We will be, but at the moment, we want to get focused on just opening the retail.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding the inside operation? No? Okay. Let's go to the outside. Matt, pull it up. Okay, could you please state your name and address?
Harold Gebhard, architect, 363 North Wellwood Avenue.
Swear to tell the
Linden-
truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do, sir.
Okay, Harold, talk about the flow of the traffic coming in and out, please.
Okay, as stated before, this is an existing building.
Of course.
I wish we had a little bit more property, but we don't. So the actual flow with the people, they come in on the west side of the building with the arrow, and they drive around, maybe park in the back if they have to, and then they come out on the east side of the building, and they leave with their purchase. The building itself, we didn't change the front elevation because I think it's fine. The sides and the back and the rear, we'll get it fixed up. Some cracks in it and whatnot, we're gonna straighten it up. We are adding landscaping. There's a place in the back of the site that we're gonna make landscaping on there. We're replacing the fence, the entire fence. We're adding planters in the front and the enclosure for the dumpster.
So we're looking at 2 parking spaces, one handicapped, one of them being handicapped in the front,
That's correct.
and then in the rear?
There's one handicap space in the back, and then additional parking on the east side and as well as the south side of the site. Parking worked out well. We don't need a variance.
Julianne?
Can I have the owner come back up again, please? I'm sorry. No problem. Could you tell me again the hours and the number of employees?
So at the moment, we are,
Speak into the microphone
sorry.
so we can...
we're seeing that everybody changed 9 to 9. So that's what we're hoping to go with. And then 5.
Thank you.
Yeah, 5 employees.
Traffic is a little bit on the tough side on this site because it is what it is. So we have to go one way on both sides of the building. And there may be a guard on the east side to start and stop the traffic
On the east side?
on the east side.
Yeah, okay. All right, any other questions? Frank?
At the dumpster enclosure area, are there bollards or anything for the traffic going down that side to exit?
I don't think we have bollards. We can add them should you desire. There are bollards inside of the enclosure, yes.
I'm just looking at the cars coming down the one-way and the room between there and the,
Yeah, where the hand is, we could add some bollards in there.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hold on, go ahead.
I know,
Hold on. We have one from, and we'll get to you.
I know this could be personal, but do you have an armored truck picking up? Because 50% is approximately charge, and the other is going to be cash. You're going to be building up a great deal of cash, and I'm just wondering how you're going to, not exactly because you can't tell time and things like that, but I was just wondering how is that going to be handled?
So just with my Verizon experience, we used to have a store on Grand Street in Brooklyn, and that was our main store. We used to get like $100,000 in cash and bill payments, and we had armored trucks come pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah, safety is number 1. Safety is number 1. So,
Regarding the refuse enclosure, can the applicant clarify whether the T shape is either a striping or structure? The backwards T right there, where the.
I'm sorry.
Can the applicant clarify whether that's a structure or just striping?
All right, right there?
That's just striping.
That's just striping. That's just striping in a pavement.
This section right here.
Oh, that's a line.
That's a line.
All that is a line.
Perfect, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Any questions? No? Okay, that's a lot of cash, by the way.
it was bill payments. People paid.
But you don't want that cash. You want the real thing.
Yeah, that was liability. Yeah, I'm happy people start paying credit card.
Yeah, I know, I'm sure you do. Okay. Thank you very much. Is there anyone that would like to address this application from the public? Pardon me, it's not a public hearing? Okay. You're right, it's an informational hearing. I have one question. Come on up. So you're a smart businessman, built up businesses, you've sold them,
Yes,
private equity and all of that.
yes.
You probably don't have to work that hard, but I'm not counting your money. So I'm really interested in why you think the cannabis industry will be as successful as your other businesses, or perhaps even more successful.
It's new. It helps. It's not just recreational. It's very medicinal. And everybody's exploring now more than ever. And I would rather it be safely within our confines instead of you just getting it somewhere else. More so like I'm happy that everything's happening the right way and there's so many protocols from the state to the town. And I would like to follow them and be the best at what we could do.
What have you seen in the industry thus far in regards to business growing through the legitimate licensed sellers and versus the underground economy?
So To be honest, in Long Island, we have a little bit less of that problem compared to the boroughs. So in Long Island, I see that it's doing good. It's doing good. People are more inclined to go to a real store. And the other stores that are doing the wrong things, they get shut down pretty quick compared to the boroughs.
So the enforcement has improved significantly since the first.
Since the first 2022, 2023 got a lot better than 2024, it felt like.
Okay.
Stores.
One last thing, if you can, for the record, describe how the quality is assured of what you're selling.
So there's category 5 testing. That's a little higher than, that's like higher than food grade testing. Pesticides, heavy metals, mold, bacteria. And then second, it's manufactured and processed in New York. New York prides itself for having good black dirt. Like they've been around and it's been farmed. So those things. And them going through the process of testing, and if it doesn't pass testing, they have to remediate it or get rid of it once it shows up on a test that it's wrong. So that's what I feel.
All right, any other questions? No? All right, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate
All
it.
right, so let me just state this into the record. I need a motion from the board to close this hearing, and we will reserve decision, although this is just an informational hearing. Motion by Ed.
Motion to close?
Second by Juan.
Second.
All in favor? The public hearing is closed. This decision has been reserved for review, and if any feedback we have, and the record will remain open for written comments. To follow up, you can contact the planning department. Again, this is an informational hearing, but any information that we have will be shared either in person or via the phone, 631-957-3103, or through email, planningcomments@townofbabylonny.gov. Okay?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Have a
Good luck.
evening. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our live stream. We're now going to go into the work session.